So here's the centerboard all clamped up. Got check the pin and it's perfectly vertical, so that's all lined up really nicely. Then I put a straight edge across the top of here, this whole thing, and it's nice and flat, so that's all good. And basically what I did was I put the epoxy, on the ends of the two, on the two pieces that basically go in between, along with some some cotton fiber to thicken it up, and then clamped it down. Did the same thing, down that end, and then what these green things are. This is tape wrapped around a piece of wood. So what I did was I routed the edges of these with a 1/4 inch round and wrapped them with tape, and then covered them with butcher's wax, and so that the epoxy won't stick to it. And so the epoxy won't stick to the tape because it's covered with wax. And then put a bunch of extra thickened epoxy on it and squished it up against the end there, and clamped it into place. So what I should end up with is a nice rounded, U-shaped, rounded, smooth inside on either end of the centerboard trunk, and that way it eliminates any goopy little drips coming out and everything, and basically fills it in and creates a nice little chamfer inside that. So that's all nice and straight and clamped up and everything looking good. So that's it for the centerboard trunk from right now. I am going to, next put the reinforcing blocks, these pieces like this on either side. This is the one that gets this little cap put on it, for being able to take the pin in and out, and this is the one for the other side over here. So in addition to the 3/4 inch wood that's on here, we'll have an extra 3/4 of an inch on either side around that pin to basically, support it and make it nice and strong. And then I'm going to put extra bracing around this area of the centerboard on either side to the main hull to give it extra stiffness and everything, because I am putting, much heavier board on there. The other thing I did too, because the original centerboard is supposed to be 1/4 inch thick, and I'm doing 1/2 inch thick. So basically this gap is bigger by an extra 1/4 inch for the extra wide board that's going to be in here. And so to make up for that difference, I basically took off 1/8 of an inch on the outside edges of these well, I don't know, cleats or whatever you want to call them, that fit into the hull. So those fit in over here. Those drop into those two little holes there, and those over there, and that drops in. The whole centerboard will drop into there. But because it's now slightly wider, I had to take a little bit off of that, so it'll still drop in those holes. And then the inside edge doesn't really matter because that all gets routed out anyway. Once the centerboard is in there and I flip the boat upside down at some point, then I'll route all that out and the slot will be all set. And then that slot gets a quarter round on that, and then fiberglass or carbon fiber, probably in my case, up inside the centerboard trunk and then around to the hull. And that finishes off the joint on the outside. And then on the inside, these are the extra. So on the inside, I'm going to put carbon fiber in the area where the centerboard is going, especially here where the pin is, and most of the torque will be when the boat's sailing. And then these are added pieces. These are added pieces I'm going to put in here to spread the load from where the centerboard is out to the main hull. Spread it out a little bit farther, even it out. Just to, they don't weigh much, so added insurance just to make sure it's placed strong enough. So I got 2 of those on each side, and I'll attach those to the centerboard trunk, right where those reinforcing extra pieces of wood on the outside of the centerboard trunk are. So that'll give it plenty of strength there.